a lot of things. But I think with technology and the board members and the ambassadors, and why don't you tell a little bit about our advisory board, which I think is such an awesome thing, allowing people to get involved with the IA. And these aren't just people that we're grabbing off the street. These are top celebrities, top inventors, people around the world.
Yeah, we've got, it's, to be frank, an all-star advisory board. People like Judy Edwards from Squatty Potty, right? I mean, think about what she's done. Catherine Emery, who's been working with Home Depot for 17 years. She does work with Lowe's. She's been on Good Morning America, The View. She's been all over the place, QVC. And if you look at some other people, Mike Watts, who again, this story is really great because he wasn't on Shark Tank, but he did a deal with Damon, and Damon's his partner. And people probably know now that Damon's also my partner. And, so it's just, we have every basis covered. And it's not people talking about what they want to do. It's people who have done it, who have lived it every day, who have invented, who have gone through the stumbling blocks of making it a successful product, failing, but not stopping. And Mike's story is like that, right? He's got quite a few businesses that he's run. He tried doing it over abroad. It didn't work out. He's making all the stuff in the US. You know how I am. I'm a big Made in USA guy, and we have our own Made in America podcast. So to me, it's real world, real life situations. You're going to get information from folks that have done it, not somebody telling you what they want to do or what they think you should do. They've lived it. They know it. They can save you thousands of dollars with their expertise. So honestly, it's great, Carmine. And our first guest today is Chris Landano. So Chris was on America's Big Deal with Joy Mangano, this great new TV hit series on USA Network. Chris was a fireman, a New York City fireman for 20 years. So all he's been doing is rescuing people. I like to joke with him and say he's done a lot of rescuing of cats, right? I always like to throw that in there. I met Chris on Good Morning America probably 7-8 years ago now. But, he's so passionate about this industry that he started a new company called Inventor Rescue. And it's truly to help inventors find the right sources, get connected in the right network with the right people. And he's got a tremendous network of expert people in the industry. And all of us, including me, back him 1,000%. I was actually in the audience when he pitched his Track Belt 360. I've been with him from the very first time I met him on Good Morning America and helping him all the way through this process. And, I look at when I first met him on his belt to where it is today, what a difference. It is a top-notch, high-grade professional belt. And again, someone who's lived through the processes. So let's bring Chris on. We're going to give Chris, our session today will be 30 minutes because we're going in and out all day, literally all day from when we started at 9 right through. Catherine Emery is our resident expert in national media. She'll be in at 5, so we'll go to 5:30. So Chris, welcome to National Inventor Day, your favorite day.
Thanks, Chris. What an introduction. I love it. Love what I love what the UIA is doing. I love how you guys threw this together in such a short period of time, and it's through your awesome network. National Inventors Day. What an honor to be a part of it. Inventor Rescue, right? I started it. I launched it in 2021 because I saw that there was a serious problem with this industry. As an independent inventor, you guys know it. I'm out at all the trade shows. I'm active. I'm an inventor myself that's been through the gamut of getting my product manufactured, and I've gotten my product in front of all the big licensing brands, but it just wasn't ready. But I'm learning as I go, and I'm networking, and it's amazing. When I first started working on my invention, I started realizing that there's a big problem in this industry. There are a lot of people taking advantage of independent inventors, and it really is. It's out of control. And so, never realizing when I started working on my invention that I would kind of shift into being a rescuer, because in New York City, I've been a rescuer for over 20 years, and I loved it. I love helping people. I love helping people when I know that they'll never be able to repay me. And that's the true meaning of helping people, not charging them thousands of dollars up front and say you're helping them, you know, whatever. I love helping people. And so I figured if I'm going to retire from responding to 911 calls, let me just do something that comes natural to me. And that's responding to calls for help for inventors. And it is certainly needed. So
let's talk about a couple of things, Chris. Let's get into rescue, but let's first talk about America's Big Deal. You know, I know you got a great product, and you have been going through the grinds. It's not an easy product. It's very technical. It's not something you can easily sell. It's a specific market. But man, this thing is really high grade now. So let's talk about how you got on America's Big Deal. You know, we'll split it up. We'll talk about America's Big Deal, and we'll talk about Inventor Rescue. But I know that was really a big event for you. You did really well. I was in the audience, and man, I was proud to be your friend. It was really, for me, a cool program to see this stuff going live and being able to buy it live, such a different platform. Talk about that, how you got on the show and what led up into you actually pitching it to the judges.
Back in around 2018, 2019, I had a booth at the National Hardware Show, and I was part of the pitch panel. I presented my product to a group of panelists at the show, and one of the producers that were part of the bringing the show to market, Chris, your screen is frozen. Oh, one of the producers saw me. One of the producers saw me pitching my product back in like 2019 at a trade show, and reached out to me earlier in the year and said, "Hey, we haven't made an announcement yet, but are you still working on that track belt?" I said, "Yes." She said, "I remember your product, but I remember the story behind it." She said, "I would love for you to apply for the show. If you meet the requirements, we'd like to bring you on board." I met the requirements, and it was a great experience.
Yeah, and you know, how did you feel, right? How did you feel getting on that stage, knowing it was live, you know, millions of people watching? You got Joy Mangano, who's been extremely successful. You've got the Macy's top guy. You got Lowe's in front of you. You got this live a presence of now telling your story on a national scale. How did that feel?
You know, I was laser focused on that stage. I knew that it was live, and I knew that I would have to live with my performance. And I just thought back to the days when I was a New York City firefighter, and we were rolling down the street, and there it is, the house is on fire, and we have a mission. And we get laser focused on what our job is. Each one of us on the fire truck has a position, and we just get busy. And I just was like in the zone. I said, all right, almost 18 years of working on this product has come down to this moment. I'm going to focus, and I nailed my pitch.
Yeah, it was good. I'm telling you, it was really refreshing to watch. So what would you say to anybody out there who's trying to get on that national stage? You know, I was on Shark Tank, and that's no easy task. We had in COVID, right, over 120,000 applicants. We were one of 50, me and Judy, to make it to that stage. It was in a different environment. It was in Vegas. We were in a hotel room for 10 days. Couldn't even go in the hallway. So it was a lot of different emotions going on to actually pitch it. Then you don't know if you're going to get on. Then, you know, we got hand selected to be on the grand finale of season 12. There's only 12 people in the history of Shark Tank that's ever done that. And me and Judy were one of them. So I know what that was like for me and how hard it was to get there. It's not as simple as everyone may think it is. It's a lot of work to get to that level, to get to that stage. So talk about that a little bit, how much work it was for you to, you know, all the stumbling blocks you hit to finally get to that stage. Because again, it's not someone talking about it. It's somebody who's living it and lived it every day.
Well, here's one of the things about Inventor Rescue, right? And I'm sorry, but I'm going to just keep it real. That really pisses me off. You've got a lot of so-called experts in this industry that are telling inventors it's easy to get a licensing deal. It's easy to bring a product to market. Meanwhile, it's not easy. It takes years. And I'm finding in most inventors who've made it onto Shark Tank or made it onto these shows, certainly many of the inventors I got connected to with this show, were working on this product for years, right? I mean, nothing is overnight. But the key is to get involved, plug into a system. I mean, get involved in the United Inventors Association, you know, join, subscribe to the list, get involved, get to your local inventors club. There's a process, and you can't skip steps because it'll come back to bite you. Just don't rush it. Just take it as it comes, and have the right coaches or mentors, the right information in front of you. And just to touch on it really quick, the coaches, make sure if you're paying a coach, vet them. Make sure that they have the right, they've licensed their products before, they've manufactured their products, they know what your goal is, and they know how to get you there by action. Like you just said, all these inventors that you have coming on today are inventors who have licensed their own products, who have manufactured their own products, who got their products on the shelves in stores. There's so many coaches out there that are full of crap. And that's what Inventor Rescue is.
Well, I think you said a key word there, Chris, about, you know, going through all these different things and the process, because what it is, and when you're involved in inventing and launching products, the process is money, right? It costs you every mistake you make. If it's the wrong packaging, if it's the wrong material you selected, it's costing you thousands of dollars. And that's what this process is for, is to show you the right way. And think about who we have on today. Everyone on this show today that we put together in less than 5 days to show you what kind of network we have, an amount of high-level people who want to participate in events like this, who personally are friends with me, but they really want to help because they know how hard it was. I mean, we got experts across the board, from America's Big Deal to QVC to Amazon to Shark Tank to HSN. You know, we've got it all. I mean, we've got the whole group covered. And that's what we want people to know, the process. It's such an important factor. And when you bring a process, it's money. Every mistake, think about that for a second. Every mistake you made cost you thousands of dollars.
It is a grueling landscape. And if you don't have someone navigating you, you're going to hit a lot of dead ends. Excuse me. You're going to hit a lot of dead ends. You're going to hit a lot of landmines and potholes that you can avoid with the right person or the right inventors club or the right organization. But don't run to an organization that's charging thousands of dollars, that makes claims that they're more than they are.
Right.
So
yeah. I mean that's important. I even think, like today at 10 o'clock, right? We have Chris Trapper on. He's a songwriter, musician. He's done movies. He writes songs with Rob Thomas of Matchbox 20. He was excited to be on the show because, listen, every step you take, whether you're inventing a product, you're writing a song, they all have these processes, right? Which are a big deal. And in this case, I mean, think about the broad range of people we're going to have to tell their stories. This is a marathon. It doesn't stop. We're going to go from one expert to the next. So let's talk about, so you talked about Inventor Rescue. How can people get a hold of you and get involved a little bit with that? Then we'll go into, then we'll spend into some greater detail on your process and the bumps you hit and the things to avoid.
So inventorrescue.com, spelled the way you spell inventor and rescue. We have a contact us page. I'm constantly evolving the website and want to do a lot more things to it. And if you're interested, like I said, you can go through the website. It's a ton of information. It's all free. We have and you can subscribe to the website and reach out to us. If you think you've been scammed or you've been taken advantage of, I would love to hear your story. We're working on some things right now to build up a sponsorship page, because one of the things I'd really want to do is I want to get a recreational vehicle. We're going to wrap it to look like a fire truck. We're going to put lights and sirens in it, and we're going to go nationwide to trade shows and set up shop and educate and offer coaching and just really try to help inventors. So, if you're an inventor and you've got a brand and you've grown a huge company and you're looking to get involved, we would love to get some sponsors, but we're not rushing it. There's a process to everything. And so I'm just taking my time with the whole Inventor Rescue mission.
Yeah, good. And our next guest before we get into it is Dr. Russ Barnes, who's the educational portion of UA. And you said it, we're doing all of this. This is no charge. It's completely transparent. It's free. I mean, if you start asking us, you know, in separate areas to start building tools for you and molds, obviously there's some costs associated with that. But all the educational side, the memberships, are all free. And our whole network, our advisory board, our UIA board is all about offering these services to help the inventor to avoid the traps, avoid the loopholes, learn from people who have made the mistakes. It was funny when, you know, back in corporate America, we used to tell when we hire good engineers, you know, we hope you made some mistakes. We want you to make mistakes. We just don't want you to make them with us. We hope you learn from your mistakes, that when you come to us now, like BMW or Ford, you've already made those $1 million mistakes. So now we're going to be really productive. And we say the same thing here, right? You've been it firsthand. All the different people we deal with on a daily basis who have done it, who have become successful, who have taken their brand and made it on a national platform. They've all made mistakes. If you think you're not making a mistake and you think you're going to do this, launch it right the first time, you're not being honest to yourself. So that's really critical. So Chris, what are your recommendations? So someone comes to you and they get started. What are your recommendations? What's the first step besides filling out some information on who they are, what they have, where they are at the stage of their invention?
I try, excuse me. So I have them fill out a questionnaire that kind of gives me a size up of what they've got going on. I mean, if they have an idea, so right now I find that, and you'll probably agree, there's a lot of companies that are charging inventors for ideas. So if they have an idea, they tell them they can license that idea, which is totally not true, right? I mean, I'm relatively new in the last few years to the industry. You've been in it a lot longer than me, but all the licensing experts I speak to, you can't license an idea. So companies are taking advantage of inventors where they're making them, they're charging them for programs when they just have an idea. So what we're doing differently at Inventor Rescue is we've got a page. It's called I Have an Idea, Now What? Not a new term, not something I created. It's going to be sort of a free course with all information. So if inventors have an idea, I tell them to put on the brakes. Don't rush to start spending money, because your idea might not be worth anything. It might already exist, which happens a lot. Just slow down. And hopefully we can point them in the direction of, you have an idea, okay, you're not ready for us, or you're not ready for any kind of coach. Don't spend the money. But if someone comes to me and says they have done the market research, they have some patent, some IP, they have maybe a working prototype or not, that's someone that's done some due diligence that I feel like, all right, they're a little bit more advanced. Let's get on the phone with them, do a brief conversation, and then see if I bring them through my program, or if I'm going to connect them to you, if they're ready for production. Like I feel like I'm going to be like the bridge. And again, it's not a program that I invented. You know, someone recently said they invented a program of connecting inventors to factories. These companies, I feel like we got to reprogram the inventors coming into the industry, because these companies that have their own agendas that are charging thousands of dollars, they kind of mold the inventor to think something that is completely not true. And then they get them for thousands of dollars. Just really screwed up.
Yeah, I always say, right, anybody can win the lottery. What are the chances of winning the lottery, right? I mean, yeah, I suppose anybody can license an idea, but what are the odds of that happening? Right? I play the lottery. What are the chances of me winning? You know the numbers. Like, don't bet your retirement on it. So in this case, I always say, you know, the more work, I mean, I get people that come to me. This is what's disturbing and alarming. They hear from other people and other companies. They have an idea and they know that I'm approved now at Walmart. I had an audit done. I'm certified, so I can ship to any plant of Walmart in the U.S. as a U.S. manufacturer. They come to me with something, I'm not kidding, on a yellow sticky note, and asking me how fast I can get that into Walmart. And I sometimes I think it's, you know, am I being punked? I'm looking around the room. I say, you know, Walmart doesn't buy ideas, right? You understand that. They buy retail products that have been, proof of concept is done, packaging is done. It's your fulfillment centers are finished, your barcodes are done. You have a place that you're going to ship hundreds of thousands of products to them, and do trials and tests in different stores throughout the country. And it's going to go on a shelf that a consumer is going to want to buy. A yellow sticky is not how you're going to get it into Walmart. But no. I'm not kidding. They really believe that.
Yep, it's pretty crazy. So one of the things we, like I said, we're looking to do with Inventor Rescue is the big why for Inventor Rescue was the 2 words: independent inventors. There's thousands of us nationwide. I'm an independent inventor. Many of us don't have teams. We don't have the right resources. However, I am now bringing all that information together to the Inventor Rescue website. And we're thinking about doing kind of like a membership program where, you know, if you get scammed or if you get infringed upon, this is like some sort of insurance that you have access to the best legal team. I'm working on bringing together the best coaches from around the country, the best manufacturers in US and China or wherever, but educating them on the process by connecting them to people that are not going to take advantage of them. You know, amazing experts for manufacturing. You've been in the industry over 30 years. You've got Nisha. She's been in the industry for a ton of years, working with General Electric and major organizations. And that's what we're doing. We're simply, if someone needs a coach, I've got 4 coaches that are coming on board with Inventor Rescue who work independently around the country, who have been supporting this mission since we launched Inventor Rescue. So we're bringing the best coaches to the table and just trying to do our part. Are we going to be able to protect everyone? No. But if I find someone and they think they have a toy game product, I can reach out right to Matt Nuccio and make an introduction, where some companies out there or some independent consultants are like, oh, no, you got to pay me an upfront retainer of $5,000 and then I'll connect you to my guy. I'm not going to play that game.
What is this right here? I always say that. What is this?
That's the crown.
Right? Knowledge is king, right? That's it. The more knowledge you have, the more informed you are, the better decision you're going to make. So the more information you can gain, even from a resource like the UIA, I mean, you have to be a member. There's so many things we're doing in 2022. Our membership list, I've never seen it grow this fast. We've got high-level experts, and I do say experts because they lived it. They've done it. I mean, Aaron Krause. I mean, do I need to say any more? Scrub Daddy. Everyone knows Scrub Daddy, right? He started out just like everybody else. Joy Mangano. You know the story of the movie Joy? She started out like everybody else. But what's the difference is these people are relatable. They're not actors. They're real people that have actually lived the journey. So they know what can happen to you. They know how people take advantage of you. I mean, look at the movie Joy. People wouldn't give her tools back, right? I mean, we can go on and on with this. So the more you know, the better educated you are, the more successful you will be. Long story short.
Hey, unbelievable. Hey, Chris, I want to jump in here quick, Inventor Rescue. And this is unrelated to inventors, but, you know, being a New York City fireman, what's it like taking a fire truck through New York City with the sirens and lights going and all that traffic? I mean, I know we're getting off inventions too, but how amazing! What kind of feeling is that?
He's done a video for me. He actually was live on a call with a video and took me through it with him one time. Pretty cool.
You know,
pretty intense.
Driving a fire truck through New York City traffic, you know, it is a rush. You know, I had the privilege of, you know, every time you go to work, we have different positions. And me being a senior firefighter and a chauffeur, we call it, I drive the fire truck. I mean, again, you know, the bell goes off and you start hearing the information going over the speaker. And as a chauffeur, and it's my responsibility to get my crew to the scene safely, because every second counts for those folks being in the burning building. So there's so much pressure, but you're laser focused. You know, we just have a job to do, and the more years you do it, the better you get at it. But driving a fire truck and pushing traffic, I mean, you know, it's a 1.5-ton vehicle. It's got a lot of weight, and once that weight gets moving, there ain't no stopping. So you got to make sure that you got enough clearance in case someone, and it happens all the time in New York City. I mean, you're going down the street and boom, they just lock up the brakes and they don't know what to do. So I got to go left or right. And it's like, oh man, here we go. It's a rush. It's a rush. You know, any first responder will tell you, driving whether you're driving a police car or an ambulance, which I have experience. I worked on a New York City ambulance. I started out with New York City Police Department. So I've driven all the different vehicles. It's a rush. It's so much fun. It really is.
And your invention was kind of born out of one of your experiences, right?
Yeah, you know, I've been through the gamut with my invention. I think my movie will be pretty exciting. But you know, I worked hard to make it in America, and I made it in America. And I realized that because it's so labor intensive and it's got so many moving parts, that it's got to be made, unfortunately, offshore. And I had to pivot during the pandemic, and now I'm moving it offshore. And now it was costing me $110 to make one. And now it's going to cost me less than 25. And that puts me in an amazing position to bring a product to an industry that has had very little innovation. And I really do think that Track Belt 360, launching it later this year, you know, with the support that I have in the community, but it really does solve a problem. And you know, you gotta stick through it. And what's really kept me going through it is the fact that I have retailers reaching out to me saying, hey, when's that product going to be ready? And that's what's kept me going. Sometimes as an inventor, you've got no interest, and you've got to make the decision to say, all right, you know what? I'm going to, you know, let this one sail, and I'm going to move on to the next. It's a hard decision, but.
Yeah. You know, and I'll tell you, I would have kept Chris busy in my neighborhood. He saw me light a fire at my house. So he knows that I use tools to light fires, right? Like gasoline and lighter fluid. Not recommended for anybody to ever try that at home.
So funny.
Chris, like, what are you doing? I'm starting a fire. He goes, get out. Sit down.
Hey, listen, we got about 1 more minute, Chris. Contact information and how to get a hold of you, or where to get a hold of you.
Yeah, you know, you can go through Inventor Rescue Contact Us page. It's the best place. If you have any questions, send me an email. And if you know, I just want to help people.
Yeah.
Just want to help people. You know, I can go on for hours talking about helping people. Helping people is in my DNA. It's something I've been doing. I'm a huge volunteer in my community. I do a ton of volunteer work. And that's how I got so involved with the UIA, right? Going to trade shows. You got to get out there. You got to go to trade shows, especially with the UIA, right? We have an exciting lineup coming up. We just came back from the PGA show, and and you know, you saw me in action, Carmine. I went booth to booth, introducing myself, talking to the inventors, asking them what they need, and we're helping a few right now out. So I'm excited to be a part of the Inventors Association right now with what's going on. And I think I love it because the bad guys are now starting to notice that a strong, united Inventors Association with Inventor Rescue, and we're going to bring the good guys together, because the bad guys been walking the hallways of trade shows without any pushback. And I'm getting tired of seeing certain people at trade shows walking around like, you know, knowing what they're doing to inventors. So that's going to change. I just had a great conversation with some of the organizers of some of these trade shows, and I said we should create safe zones in the inventor sections. And if we put any of these bad companies on our list, and the trade show organizers told me we will enforce that. Maybe we won't let them come to the trade shows. I'm like, let's go, baby.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, man.
All right, great.
Let's give Chris the hook. He's got to probably
he's
got a fire
we're here all day, baby. As a comedian, we're here all day.
I love this stuff. Hey, I got my cup just like the show, but wait, there's more.
Inventors Day Marathon. We're here.
I got my coffee cup. I'm ready to kill this thing today. It's got so much cool stuff happening.
Oh yeah,
I'm really excited. All right, man. Why don't you introduce our next guy? This is going to be awesome.
Dr. Russ Barnes. So this guy has got